Jerzy, Drozd, are you ready for my 5 fabulous questions?
Ready.
All right, question number 1 is, how did you get started working in comics?
How I got started working I was in college, and I was second year undergrad, and I submitted some samples to a company called Antarctic Press, and they liked what they saw, and so they started giving me some work, and it started from there. That was around 1996, 97, somewhere in the neighborhood. Did my first miniseries for them, and then I started working freelance as an illustrator, doing educational comics for companies like Glencoe McGraw-Hill, and then doing my own self-published work on the side.
Very good. Question number 2 is, did you read comics when you were a kid, and if so, who were some of your influences?
Okay, I was blessed in the sense that my parents came home one night, and this would be 1983, with a huge box of 1960s Silver Age comics with the covers ripped off. They got them from a used bookstore. So my introduction to comics was Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Richie Rich. And so yes, as long as I can remember, I've read comics, but it was 1985. It was a 12-issue series called Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was issue number 3. It was in the summer, early spring, I think. I put down issue 3, and I was absolutely out of breath. I said, I have to be a comic book artist when I grow up, and that's all I've ever cared about ever since.
Wow, that's really specific.
It's a very vivid memory. I remember the way the air smelled when I put down that book.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
It was like ozone in the air.
That's
so, yeah.
fabulous. What are you currently working on?
I am currently working on the follow-up to a graphic novel I did a couple years back called The Front Rebirth. The new one I'm working on is called Petty Dreadful. It is a sort of backstory of one of the main characters from that book. And then I also teach comics courses around the Midwest area, and then I also am the co-organizer of an event called Kids Read Comics, which is happening this July and then again in October. So that eats up a lot of my time. I'm the programming director. I develop all of the, co-develop all of the workshops that we lead over the course of a 2-day event, comics. I don't want to call it convention, celebration. It's comic celebration. It's free to the public, and then we have cartoonists come in and table, like in these kind of artist alleys. But then they also lead free hands-on workshops for kids, teens, and adults.
Cool. That's been going on for a couple of years now, hasn't it?
We're in our 4th year.
Yeah.
So,
and it just keeps growing, and I keep hearing more about it, and it's like the only time in my life I've ever thought, being in the Midwest may not be so bad.
Well, that's speaking only for myself, one of my personal goals is to make the town of Ann Arbor synonymous with comics, and I've been working with the Ann Arbor District Library for the past 6 years, developing tons and tons and tons of different kinds of comics programming, doing podcasts out of the library, leading comics events. Every summer I do 2 6-week courses called Comic Book Academy and Comics Fundamentals. So it's been slowly growing, and then we brought the Kids Read Comics celebration to Ann Arbor with this plan of 5 years from now we want to make it a real destination for the entire country, not just the Midwest area.
Cool. And you have a new project that you're working on with Dave Roman also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, let me get that. It's the Kids Comics Revolution podcast. I should mention that. So, yeah, Dave Roman of YayTime.com and I got together, and Dave, contacted me and said, "Hey, you do all these podcasts about comics, but you don't do anything specifically focused on kids." And so I thought, yeah, that is weird that I haven't done that. So, but I'm not going to do it by myself. So Dave said, "Well, I'll help you." So we're in our 4th episode now, probably by the time this goes live, where it's bridging the gap between kid-lit podcasts and comics podcasts. It's comics and visual storytelling specifically geared towards kids, and that's at kidscomicsrevolution.com.
Excellent. My next question, I'm going to say that was just one giant question.
Sorry.
Question number 4, well, I kept asking follow-ups, so that was completely my fault. Question number 4 is, what graphic novel or comics titles have you read in the past year that you would recommend for teens or for kids?
Okay, I just finished the Galley, the Advanced Reader's Copy of Drama by Raina Telgemeier, and I will say this, I know I'm prone to hyperbole if anybody's listened to the shows that I've done, but this is one of the, I got goosebumps because I was witnessing a modern masterwork unfold in front of my face.
Wow.
And I think this is going to be a graphic novel people are going to be talking about for the next 10, 15 years. It's expertly crafted. The woman is a storytelling ninja, and I think it's a classic story that feels absolutely of its time. It's something that every teacher and librarian should be getting for their collection. It's a masterful piece of work.
Cool. And my last question for you is, and this is the librarian one, if you were stranded on a desert island and could only bring one book with you, and it doesn't have to be a comic, what would that book be?
Ooh, can I do a trilogy?
Yes.
C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy.
Oh, very good.
I love C.S. Lewis's work. I love his use of language. I love his sense of description. I love the fact that in the second book, Paralandra, he spends an entire chapter describing water without using the word water. I could get lost in his descriptions. Love C.S. Lewis's work. So and then if I could do any graphic novel adaptation, I would try to do the Space Trilogy, although I don't think I could do it justice.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jerzy. I appreciate it.